And so the earth roundeth another circuit across the forbidden orange, and you know what that means. Time to start cataloging! This might surprise you, but I actually liked a few games in 2021. But when I set to crown a game of the year, I like to pick a game I feel unconditionally good about. Something that may well have faults, but overall succeeds at what it wants to do, and does so pretty handily. And this year, the game that fit the bill for me the most was Returnal, developed by Housemarque Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment exclusively for the PlayStation 5. The story of Returnal centers around an astronaut named Celine, who decides to visit the planet Atropos, real spur of the moment. She's just spontaneous like that. Atropos is a lovely destination, rich with lush foliage, historic ruins, restaurants within walking distance, and... wait.
Whose lonely grave is this?
Okay, so turns out Atropos is actually very dangerous, where Celine will die a lot, and every time she does, she reshuffles the mortal coil to the moment she first crashed. Best she can do now is survive long enough to try and figure out what the heck is going on and how to break the cycle before it breaks her. Yeah, good luck with that. The game literally lays it out in plain English. Yo booty's gonna get rocked. Returnal is a mix of things, but mostly it's an arcadey third-person shooter crossed with bullet hell action and wrapped up in a roguelike. You explore Atropos and fight off its eager inhabitants, collecting new weapons and upgrades as you go, but when you die, you return to the crash site with empty pockets. The entire planet's geography changes and all its goodies swap, with your goal being to try and ride out one of the cycles till the end. Or more appropriately, fight it to the end. Get your thumbs ready for some blistering, because Returnal's gameplay loop is intense and so satisfying. Movement is an absolute breeze, and your ability to master the speed and verticality the game provides is paramount to winning out, as the game besieges you with hordes of baddies spewing entire laser light shows for you to squeeze between. Jump, dodge, melee, bang 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 bang. It's a simple language pushed to its limits, deepened through a variety of limited use consumables, powerful secondary fire modes, and the Gears of War adaptive reload thing, giving you just as much strategy to plan as all the more split-second reactions to make or break your run. And it will be broken more often than not. Enemies hit hard, and if you can't keep up, you're getting rolled over until you can. Look at the bosses they expect you to fight. Look at them! Where are the walls? There is no half-assing here, which makes it all the more satisfying to finally surmount the game's challenge, while its elements of randomness keep every run feeling fresh and invite loads of experimentation. But it's not just a constant screaming blur of action. Downtime is used very well with some light exploration, bonus areas, even the odd story-heavy hold-up sequence to let you catch your breath and drink in the game's world. It's horrible, cruel, gorgeous world, creating a solid ebb and flow and a pace as rhythmic as the player sees fit to set. It's a challenging game for sure, but I'd argue it's more punishing than outright difficult. You lose basically everything on a death, the only things you don't being the specialty Ichifine currency, weapon mods, and permanent movement upgrades, which can mean stretches of up to and exceeding 2 or 3 hours being completely torpedoed on the regular. But for as much as I've aggrandized the intensity of the combat, you can blast past a lot in this game purely on reaction time alone. And once you get the enemy's simple attack patterns down, it's just a matter of not sucking. Just a scotch of exploration, you can kit yourself into a tough little mud. And with the permanent movement upgrades, you can even catch back up to further areas pretty reliably quick. You'll get to a point at which you realize Returnal isn't actually that long of a game. But that's the thing though, it's the kind of game that kicks your ass so you can become the master of kicking its ass. And it really leaves it up to you to become that master. Explore, chance tripping into more danger, pick the right tool for the job. Even the smallest choice feels weighty when the life of a run depends on the right call. It's kind of funny to think. Some of these 20-hour set-piece stuffed experiences, I felt more tension and consequence in deciding whether or not to swap my lunchbox for a stick. Definitely a gameplay forward game, which is for the best. Not that the plot is bad. It's just confusing. The best summary I can shorthand is that Celine is somehow alive, dead, and every character in the plot all at once. But it's mysterious and oblique in a mythic way I feel inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. That it's not just throwing a bunch of random hooey at me. And at the very least, it keeps the adventure engaging, with quite a few tasty dangling carrots ever out of reach, and a pretty neat second act twist to keep the storytelling fresh. No, there's only a few things really about Returnal that I'm not too jazzed with, the first and foremost being how the game launched without a proper save system. You quit? You gonna go play with those loser friends of yours? Cool, see you next time back at the beginning! With the only workaround being using rest mode. But even that, you can't switch out of the game. Fair play, take some friggin' heavy balls.
You're not done till I say you're done, maggot!
But in practicality, when I've got to turn in for the evening, the only difference between properly saving my game and using rest mode is that with the latter, I'm leaving things in the capricious hands of fate. Here's hoping the power doesn't fritz out, and boom! 2.5 hours like tears in a heatsink. They went and patched in a save system though, so... First one here? That's surprising. Secondly, the game tries to push some risk-reward shenanigans very unsuccessfully. You'll find stuff contaminated with icky, and you can pick it up, but in doing so you risk catching the icky, which will in turn nerf your stats or lock out certain actions until you jump through a certain amount of hoops, or even just the parasites that'll give you a goodie in exchange for an oopsie. And here's the strat. Ignore all of it. You can get by more than well enough with what you trip over naturally. And it's not like the icky gear is super dangerous but super sexy or anything. A barely noticeable buff for a completely debilitating debuff? Is it too late to add something to my Christmas list? There just really needed to be more of a reason to actually take the risks. As it stands, you're better off acting like the modern McDonald's marketing team and ignoring most everything purple. Finally, and somewhat relatedly, purely as a roguelike, Returnal's kinda stringy. If you're looking for your new, I don't know, Binding of Isaac or something, you're not finding it here. Honestly, 4 runs through a biome, you've seen every new room, and there's only so much you can do to customize a run beyond, don't pick up that gun, get that one! But of course, that doesn't spare it from the usual roguelike argle-bargle, like how the success of a run feels only partly reliant on skill and mostly reliant on the whims of Lady Luck, gifting you a weapon that can actually kill those freaking drones! Par for the course and all, but without the usual glut of stuff other roguelikes have to distract from that kind of thing. Call it babies first if you're petty, which I am, so perchance I shall. All that aside though, I greatly enjoy Returnal. Definitely the most fun I've had with a PlayStation exclusive in a long while. Admittedly, it's not the most accessible game for a more casual audience, but it succeeds in creating a confident and addictively involving gameplay loop. It is a consistently thrilling blood pumper of an action game. It is a mystic meditation on triumph and seemingly never-ending tragedy, and how to weave a story through player action instead of player reaction. It is a remarkable step up from an already dynamite development team, and heartens me not only for their future, but the future of PlayStation exclusives as a whole. Returnal is my 2021 Game of the Year.